Function calling in OpenAI allows the AI to interact with predefined functions, meaning it can do more than just generate text. It can actually perform tasks like looking up for information, doing calculations, or interacting with external APIs. So you define these functions and the AI can call them during a conversation to get specific results. And let's have a look at simple schema. Here we have application and AI model. Application sends prompt with function information, and the AI model decides based on prompt if function can help it with providing valid response. If not, it will just generate and send response back to our application. But if yes, it will first respond us with function name to call. Then application calls the function, and function can basically do anything. For example, do database call, external API call, or do some calculations. And it's really useful when you want to provide some live information to the AI, like current weather or some data from your database. So then function sends some data to the application, and this data together with prompt sent to AI again, and AI model sends response based on this data. So the key point here is that AI model itself decides whether or not to call a function and also chooses which function to use. This means we don't need to always trigger these functions or send extra data to the AI model, which helps save tokens and speed up the application. So let's say sometimes we want to force AI to use our own data. And continuing our example with actors and movies, we can write a function that will return certain movies that we won't always include in the response for certain actors. And springai provides easy way to configure these functions. All we have to do is create a bean with a name equal to the function name. So I'm going to create some config package with configuration class. Let's call it config. Mark as configuration. And now what we have to do is to create a bean. This bean is going to be a function, and it accepts actor films and returns a list of films for some actor. Let's call it the getActorFilms. Okay, and as a data source, I'm going to use simple map here. So what I will do is create a map with key as a actor name and value as actor films that we want to include. So it's gonna be films by actor. And I'm going to use map of, and I will just paste some examples that I have. So for Tom Hanks, we are going to return these three films: A Man Called Otto, Pinocchio, and Finch. And for Leonardo DiCaprio, we are going to always return these two films. So what we need to do is to create some implementation here. It's going to get from films by actor, actor films by actor name. Okay, it needs to be a bean, and to let function know when to call this function and how to use this data, we need to add description from Spring Framework context annotation. So I have prepared description. It says that function get actor films by actor name, and some description for AI that if the function returns an empty response or null, provide your own data, and if function returns less than 10 films, you need to add your own data. So this description is going to work as instruction to the AI on how to use our function. Now we go to OpenAI service and add a function using default options. We simply call this function here and provide function name, which is getActorFilms. We actually also can provide this function during call here. Then this function is going to be not default, but used only for this method, but it doesn't matter for us. Okay, now let's run the application and see how it works. So I sent Tom Hanks, and as you can see, 3 films that we mentioned in our function are in response, and AI added 7 more to make it 10. So if I send request again, then we're going to see our 3 films again and some new films from OpenAI. So we also can test it with Leo. Put it here, send the request, and in response we have our 2 films and some that were generated by OpenAI. And we can also try to generate with someone not in our list. Let's say Uma Thurman, and send a request. So it simply generates some random films. Now I want to show you what exactly happens with all this function calling stuff. I rerun the application in debug and put few debug points. Let's send a request. So here we can see chat request and we have our user message with text that asks to generate filmography for an actor and says which response format AI should use. And also we have tools. And as you can see, this tool has type function and the function has description, name and parameters. So using this information, OpenAI model can understand that it can call function and get some data. Okay, let request go. Here we get the response and the response consists of body with choices. So you can see finish reason is tool calls, which means that tool was called by OpenAI model. So we are going to check message. It has role assistant and it doesn't have any message, any raw content, but it has tool call. So if you go inside tool call, we can see function here and we have function name with arguments. So all we need as argument is actor name. And using this information, springai will understand which function to call and with what parameters. Next, springai calls our getActorFilms function. So this function will return list of movies for actor. After that, request to AI sent again, now with 3 messages. So first one is initial request that says generate filmography for an actor, which is user message. Second one is assistant message. This one was sent from AI to us to call the function. And third one is a tool message with raw text as a result of function calling. And we have to send first 2 messages again because the OpenAI model does not remember any conversation history. So I just let it go and we get a response. Now let's summarize all this with schema. Here is the AI model and the first request is sent to the AI model. It consists of first message with role user and user question and function definition with name, description and parameters. Then the AI model decides to call the function, so it sends a message with role assistant, function name and parameters for the function. So then the function is called and a second request is sent to the AI. It consists of full history with 3 messages. User question, assistant message to call function, and function response inside a message with role tool. And in the end, AI generates a response based on user question and function data and sends it back to the user. So we have learned how to use function calling to make your AI interactions smarter and more dynamic with OpenAI and springai. And see you in the next section where we are going to talk about prompt engineering.